All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Another episode of Bring It Here on a Monday night, November 8th. How's everybody doing? I'm your host, the Big Dog. As always, we got the coach in the house. Coach, what's up tonight?
What's up?
What's up? And we got a newcomer to the show. We got Chad from California. What's up, Chad?
What's going on, fellas? I'm honored to be on here. Can't wait. I'm excited.
Cool. We got Chad in the house, and Chad's a big Bronco fan, so he's going to be bringing the heat for the Broncos going into Dallas and taking care of business. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Just a little business to take care of. All Sports All Plays, we are now on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. We're now on Roku. We're now on Amazon, so you got all these different places you can check out our shows. We also got merchandise that you can buy, so maybe later in the show we'll put that in the crawler. We'll try to get the merchandise link in the crawler. All sorts of stuff going on, and check out the website. Great things happening in the network, so stay tuned. Lots of cool things coming up. But right now I want to start with our Monday night preview. We got the Bears, Chicago, at the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's kind of like the old and the new tonight. You got the old Ben Roethlisberger on his way out. You got Justin Fields on his way in. Pittsburgh's favored by 7. So, Coach, give me your take on tonight's game.
Oh, man, Pittsburgh's going to win. They're going to be out-coached and outplayed. One thing about it is you got T.J. Watts. And the Bears' offense is – you don't know which offense is going to show up. Sometimes they help. They have something to protect the young one. But also he holds the ball. So I picked the Steelers at least by 14. But, hey, I've been sucking on these picks by the time. This week I've been terrible, so –
I think we were all terrible yesterday as far as picking games, Chad, it's an interesting matchup. People have been wrote down on Roethlisberger this year, although he's had fleeting moments, but he's definitely obviously not the quarterback he used to be. But he's got young weapons in Najee Harris and Deontay Johnson. Obviously TJ Watt, playing linebacker. And then Chicago, we've got, with Justin Fields. Montgomery came off the IR today. He's going to play tonight. So, can you see Pittsburgh dominating tonight? Could you see this a little closer than people think?
I think, I'm a coach. It's easy to look at it on paper and say Pittsburgh rolls, but after this weekend, you kind of got to, I don't know, this might be the weekend. We might finish it out. And funny you said, out with the old, in with the new. As far as relevancy goes, both these teams, 5-6 years ago, this was a primetime matchup. You would have had 2 playoff caliber teams getting ready to battle it out. And now you're looking at, like you said, an old Ben with new weapons and then a young kid in Fields. I'm just looking at it as one of these games. I like Fields. One of these games, it's going to click, and he doesn't have the protection, but he has the legs to get outside and move a little bit. Him and Allen Robinson still haven't really had that chemistry together. It's going to happen one of these weeks. What better than primetime Monday Night Football? Pittsburgh wins, but maybe the Bears backdoor cover.
And it's funny you say backdoor cover because the last couple of weeks I've been taking the underdogs and taking the points. I've gotten a few backdoor covers, so I do like that for sure. Yeah, I think the game. Excuse me. I think the game's definitely going to be better than people think. And it's interesting because the Bears, in my opinion, the Bears are so hot and cold. Some people say, well, how does Nagy still have a job? Some people say, Justin Fields, as Coach said, holding on to the ball too long. But in general, the game, I think, will be a lot closer. Chad, can you see this being a high-scoring game or definitely more of a low-scoring defensive battle?
If you're Chicago, you want to muck it up. You want it to be dirty. You want it to be low-scoring. I don't think you want to get in a shootout with Pittsburgh. If you let Claypool run wild, Johnson, let Harris get open in the open field, Pittsburgh's going to have their way. If you're Chicago – and you want any chance, you want to keep it low scoring, you want to get it nasty, bring back that old Bears mentality and keep it low. Give Justin Fields a chance at the end of the game to get it going and get a drive under his belt.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Coach, a power back like Najee Harris, I want to talk about him for a minute because he's definitely proven himself to be one of the better young backs. Came out of Alabama, obviously, which is basically minor league NFL football, as we're learning. The SEC basically is minor league football. So if you're the Bears, I know Khalil Mack is out tonight, so. I mean, do you put 8 in the box, or do you just kind of have to play a simple 4-3 against the running top because of the weapons they have on the outside?
I mean, I keep it simple. I'll probably mix it up a little bit. I load the box to make sure on like first and second down to let them try to throw the ball and just try to play games with Ben Roethlisberger. Because one thing about it is, man, Ben is a statue.
Right.
So he's not mobile. He's not gonna move. And his reaction is very, very, very slow. But if you get him going early, I'll bring everybody up and try to make him try to throw vertical. If I was the Chicago Bears, because you wanted to be a close game. Because if it's a close game, guess what? That means Justin Fields can run the ball. He can be more dynamic. He can be more talented.
No, definitely. And for that Pittsburgh, I mean, for TJ Watts, not only are you covering Justin Fields as a quarterback, but you're covering him as a running back. So it will free up the middle a little bit. So, Coach, your official pick was Pittsburgh by 14. Chad, you think Pittsburgh big tonight, or you think it's going to be a closer game in general?
Based off this weekend, give me the Bears +7, and Pittsburgh wins. Bears cover.
All right, yeah, I like Pittsburgh winning, but definitely the Bears covering. All right, excuse me. Wow. All right, cool. Let's move on to Week 9 in the National Football League. I was going to start with Green Bay, Kansas City, but, I don't want to fall asleep because that game almost made me fall asleep last night for sure. Wow. Okay, let's talk about the Cowboys and the Broncos. Broncos go into Dallas and basically just dominate. So, Chad, our Bronco fan here tonight, the floor is yours. Talk about the Broncos, what they did yesterday, how they went in, how they dominated Dallas. After trading Von Miller, you think the Broncos are giving up on the season. All of a sudden, boom, they come in, they just take it to Dallas. So just go ahead. Floor is yours.
Yeah, it's a breath of fresh air, I think. I think it gives the young guys, a chance to get in there and prove themselves. I think it gives them a chance to really show their leadership. Guys like Justin Simmons, who are under the radar, one of the best safeties in the league. Surtain, who, I got the jersey on representing the rookie. It's a new age in Denver. And what we did to Dallas, I think, is we just got physical with them. And I don't think they were ready for the physicality. I mean, we went out there, and I'm not a big Fangio guy, but he went straight man on those receivers. And Dallas has some of the most talented receivers in the league. And we just punched them in the mouth. And I think they were a little taken back. Like, they thought we were ready to give up. They saw the news. We all saw Von Miller was headed out. So Dallas probably thought, oh, this is a layup, pencil this in as a win, look on to next week, the whole letdown game. And we went out there and punched them early, and I was waiting for Dallas to respond, and we just kept punching, and they just kept falling. I couldn't believe what I was watching, man. As a Broncos fan, you're pumped up. Luckily there's no Andrew Luck in the draft, or I'd have been pissed that we won a game, ruining our draft pick. But, there's nothing to really – we're going to be mediocre in that middle lane, but – I was shocked as a fan. I thought Dallas was going to, have their way with us, and we went in there to their house and we knocked them around, and they weren't ready for it.
No, definitely. There was that one touchdown in the corner of the end zone where they totally burned Diggs on that corner route. I saw that. I was like, because it wasn't a typical Trayvon Diggs trying to guard somebody. I was like, what? How did they get that ball over there? But that was crazy, But yeah, it was. I mean, it was just it blew me away how it was like 10-0, 16-0, 19-0. I just couldn't believe. So Coach. So let's go from the Dallas side for a minute, and then we'll bring Tony in here, our Cowboy fan. So on the Dallas side, I mean, do you think they overlooked Denver or took Denver for granted, or do you think Prescott just wasn't healthy enough to play this week because he was out last week because of the ankle injury?
I think it's more so. It's a little bit of both. I think the biggest reason Cowboys, when in about 3 or 4 years they have some success.
Right.
So usually, I think that's the biggest issue when it comes to Dallas. When Dallas has a lead, or they're 7, whenever it's coming in 7-1, it was 6-1. They were like, oh my God, the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. And then they let you down. That's always been how the Dallas Cowboys roll. And it's like, they got to know it's a long season. Plus, I said it before, and I told Tony, we talk about it all the time. Cowboys is really a soft defense. Their defense is very, very, very suspect. They got pass rush, but they're outside pass rush guys. They're small at the linebacker and the D tackle spot. That's why I said playing teams like Tampa Bay, playing teams like the Rams is gonna give them troubles when they get into the playoffs. So they can play good against the Cardinals. They can play well against the Saints because they don't have a run game. They're not physical. Those are two finesse teams. And I think that's the one issue about Dallas. And Diggs, it's out on him, man. The double move kills him.
Every time. Yeah, every time. You've seen tapes of that double move does get him. And plus he seems like to go for the ball. I mean, I don't want to put him in a Deion Sanders category because he's not there yet. But Deion would do the same thing. Would go for the ball, not go for the coverage, and try to make the flashy interception and get beat on some of those double moves. If you look at old tapes of Deion, that kind of thing. I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah, without a doubt. I can't put the guy in, man. I can't put him up there.
No.
Not prime. We'll put him with Camardi. We'll start small. Like a Camardi. Like I said, he was making things happen, but now he's actually he's going against some real receivers.
Right. Exactly. And it's interesting. So Chad, what is the talk in Denver fan land and Denver land in general about Teddy Bridgewater? I mean, obviously he's been hot and cold this year. I mean, is he going to be a one and done like he was in Carolina? Do you think Elway's going to go for a quarterback in the draft? Or they're just going to kind of wait and see right now?
I think he's one and done. At the end of the year, I see us around 8-9 wins, and it's not. I don't look at it as well. Let's build off that for next year. I look at it as if we would have an upgraded coach, if we had an upgraded quarterback, that 8-9 win team would be 12-win team. I just think that the talent is there. I think the defense still has talent. Without Von Miller, I think the offense, we have some of the best young weapons in the game. A lot of fans don't really know about Cortland Sutton. Obviously, right. Beauty out of Alabama. We got a two-headed monster at running back. I don't know how Williams fell to us in the second round, but he ran all over the Cowboys. That was his breaking out party. So I just think if you put a quarterback, and it's tough for Teddy because he's not really playing himself out of the job. But if there's going to be a market for Wilson and Rodgers and all these guys, then you have to go for it and take that next step because Teddy's going to take you to that middle tier, but he's never going to take you to the promised land unless you have an ultimate elite defense, and we're not at that point yet.
Right.
So, I mean, unfortunately, I think Teddy's time is up. He's a good leader. The team likes him. I just think if you can get a Rodgers or a Wilson, you got to do it.
Right. Coach, do you agree with that?
So let me ask you this. You don't think it's just the play calling?
Oh, the play calling is terrible for sure. Pat Shermer, I don't know how that dude has a job.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just think Teddy's limited in what he can do in certain areas. I would like to see more pushing the ball down the field. This is the thing with me is I like a gunslinger, so I can't. I like Matt Stafford and Jay Cutler. They're not exactly Dan Marino and John Elway, But I like a dude who could push the ball down the field, open up the middle of the field, throw that 40-yard, post route, and Teddy can get by. I just want someone. That's why the draft doesn't appeal to me at all this year. I like a couple of guys in the draft, but there's nothing that's going to turn your franchise around. It's if you don't get. I guess Teddy would be a good insurance policy. He knows the team. He's a good leader. It seems like the guys love him, and he's only been here a year. So if you swing and miss on one of those big names, and it looks like Elway just keeps on swinging and missing, then at least you can have Teddy, and you know what you have. You have stability, if anything else.
Right.
I agree totally with you. I tell people all the time. I call him Teddy Checkdown because he holds that thing down. He's not a risk taker, and that's one of the biggest knocks for him. But the only issue is I think he's gonna stay another year. Only reason I say he might stay another year because there's no one in free agent because Russell, you have to trade for Russ, and that means they're gonna want the buttload. And even Deshaun's probably the only chance that you have just because he'll have all this court stuff by February. I think they're speaking on that they're finna he was finna get it pretty much swept under the rug, but one of them said no. So Deshaun is really the only guy. I think honestly, truthfully, people hate me when I say this. I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna stay back in Green Bay. I think he's just a big crybaby, but that's another story. Honestly, I think that's he's only thing that you got because I don't know who else.
Yeah.
What about Cam Newton? I'll throw that name out there. People keep tossing his name around.
They don't like. He doesn't fit their offense.
I don't like Cam Newton's. I watched him since. So Cam Newton to me, and I don't want to. This ain't apples to apples. Cam Newton to me is like a J.R. Smith type of player. What I mean by that is they were born great. Like they have been great their whole life. But watching Cam in college, it's just his throwing motion. He's just a physical specimen. And when he lost his legs a little bit, those MVP numbers came back to earth a little bit. And when you watch his best years, he had Benjamin, he had Funches. These dudes are 6'6", 6'7". When you watch him throw the football, the ball kind of sails up a little bit. And so when you have these smaller receivers and these quick routes, the ball kind of sails over those receivers a little bit. And he can't really hit them like he could those big 6'6", 6'7" guys. So I just feel like Cam, and like Coach said, in the offense that we have, you got to design your whole team around that. And I don't think at this point in your career, you bring in a dude who's probably going to sit out this whole year and revolve your whole offense around him. When you got Judy, Sutton, and Fant and Big O at tight end, you're so many weapons. You want to get the ball around the school.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have a good offense, name wise.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Y'all just can't put them pieces together, man. I don't know if it's I think your head coach is terrible, but hey,
the game management, everything.
I think he's terrible.
Definitely. All right, Tony, if you're there, I want you to come in. I want you to take the Cowboys side of what happened yesterday. I mean, there's not much to say, but go ahead.
I mean, there's not, because I'm going to be honest with you. Coach kind of surprised me because Coach really nailed it on the head. I mean, as a Cowboys fan, is one of those, this is what Dallas does. Dallas has a lot of success, and then they blow it. I mean, to me personally, would I rather them, and no offense, Chad, would I rather them have lost to maybe a better team? Yeah, but I mean, yesterday, obviously, Denver was the better team overall. I think much like Chad said, they just kind of came in. They expected Denver to kind of be weakened in the leadership role. Even if Von Miller wasn't on the field, just his veteran presence, just that teaching mentality that he has and that ability that's just there to help that defense. And to be honest with you, Dallas was kind of due for a loss. This is one of those that, it's going to kind of bring Dallas back down to where it needs to be. If you look at it realistically, Dallas has played one actually good team this season, and that's the Chargers. And even then, the Chargers have been hot and cold, and they were able to get the win against them. The one good team that Dallas played was Tampa Bay, and it just came down to who had the ball last. Much like Coach said, as far as the defensive side goes, they're able to get you on the outside, but the inside is where they kill you. And if you notice, Dan Quinn, what he does to try to alleviate that is he has Randy Gregory move into the inside as the big man, and then he also has Micah Parsons move in there as well to try to help in with those defensive tackles because they are smaller. And then you got Trayvon Diggs, just getting burned in the secondary. The secondary has always been a problem for Dallas, and I even saw a statistic yesterday. Dallas is actually on pace to be a worse defense than it was last year as far as passing yards, everything like that given up. Just the only difference is Dallas is getting the takeaways that they weren't getting really in the years past. Dallas has never been really known here, I'd say, in the last 10 years of actually getting a lot of defensive takeaways. So that's really the only big improvement that Dan Quinn has brought to this Dallas defense is that they're getting more turnovers than they have in probably the last 7-8 years.
All right, cool. Well, we'll see what happens next week. You never know. All right, awesome. Thank you, Tony. Before we move on to the rest of the games for this week, it was an interesting statistic. I'm sure you guys are aware of it. There was 5 Super Bowl rematches this week in the schedule. Yeah, I don't know if you guys. Chad's nodding his head. Coach didn't know. It was interesting. The Jets and the Colts. That was Super Bowl 3. Dallas and Denver played Super Bowl 11. The Patriots and the Panthers. I think that was 38. That was the Janet Jackson game where she showed the world. Let's see, the Packers and the Chiefs, of course, Super Bowl 1. And last night, the Titans and the Rams. That was the Kurt Warner game. So pretty interesting, huh?
So I only experienced 2 of them.
Yeah, I know. I'm older than you guys, but I wasn't alive yet for Super Bowl 3. So there you go. But let's move on to the Green Bay Kansas City game. A definite low-scoring snooze fest. Not something that I think anybody expected. A lot of people expected Kansas City to pretty much blow them out of the building. And statistically, if you look, I mean, they basically did, because, Jordan Love basically showed up and did nothing. I mean, that's been the talk all day, all over sports radio. Colin Cowherd had it. Adam Shine had it. The Mad Dog had it. Everybody had it. Jordan Love he's had, and I'm repeating what I've heard today, but he had 18 months in this system and basically came out completely flat. So, I mean, I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan, but all this does is show how valuable Aaron Rodgers is to the franchise. So, Chad, I'm going to get your take on this first.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. I think if Aaron Rodgers plays last night, I think that's a different story. The Packers have been moving. I don't know what happened week 1, but since then they've been pretty much flawless. I thought they were going to take the L last Thursday. Rodgers did his thing without Devontae. I think yesterday would have been the same. I don't know about Jordan Love. I didn't like the pick. I mean, it's one thing to trade up and piss off your franchise quarterback. It's another thing to do it for a dude who ain't got no talent. I mean, I don't think he's the answer there. He's coming from a small college, wasn't a big recruit in high school. So I didn't see the love there, no pun intended. But I thought Kansas City was going to mop the floor with them, honestly. I thought that was going to be a game for the Chiefs to break out. I'm waiting for the Chiefs to break out. I thought they were going to do it against the Giants. I thought they were going to do it yesterday. Something's broken. Something's broken in Kansas City. I don't know what it is. I love it because I thought the next 10 years I was going to be in misery because my team was going to be stuck behind Mahomes. But they're figuring him out quick. And the Packers defense, they're not world beaters. I mean, we're not talking about the 85 Bears. There's holes in that defense, and they couldn't air it out. They couldn't open it up. So I was shocked at the score, honestly. The fact that Jordan Love had a terrible game and with 5-6 minutes left in the fourth quarter had a chance to do something and make it a game, that's unacceptable if you're a Chiefs.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, Kansas City is definitely broken. We've been talking about that for a couple weeks on the show, Coach. And, they keep on getting broken. Now, I mean, obviously, there are other players that have been in this league 10, 12 years. They've got tape on. They've got tape on Brady. They've got tape on Rodgers. But yet they still can't stop him. But yet it seems like they've got tape on Mahomes, and they figured his game out. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. Is that what you're seeing on the field?
No, they just can't run the ball. Like, there's 2 safeties over the top, so that takes away the deep threat. Kelsey is pretty much, or you could drop down and have a safety over Kelsey, so it kind of like takes him out of the picture. And then Pat Mahomes also, he's looking for that big boom play that he used to have in the past, and it's not there. And I watched them when they get close to the goal line, they gotta do all trick plays because they just can't stand up and just hand the ball out. There's times, I mean, I watched them. I think yesterday that it was a 5 or 6 man box, man on man, and Z tackles making the tackle. Like, you have to be able to run the ball. Like, to have what you have with 2 safeties staying over the top, you have to be able to run the ball, and they can't run it. I mean, and then now, and also, they don't have a legit route running receiver. Last year, I can't even think his name. He went to Baltimore. Watkins ran the routes. He ran the hitches. He ran the curls. He ran that. You just got 2 vertical threats.
Right.
So Watkins was the one that, like, okay, I hit the little one in the middle, right there. Then now you got to have a safety come down. You got to drop it to a zone to stop that. Now they hit you with the across the middle of the field. But I think that's the biggest issue for them. Last night, even Jordan Love, to me, he didn't play bad for not playing for 2 years. I mean, like I said, man, Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody has a game plan until you get hit in the mouth. I think the coach, and I really respect him and applaud him for this. He said it was his fault because I think he was really, really hesitant to try to just open it up and let him throw a little bit. Like, everything was kind of like screens, short routes, run. But I think he's athletic because he ran a little bit. But I think if he plays next Sunday, I don't know for sure if Rodgers I think Rodgers come back that Friday or Saturday.
If he clears Saturday, the coach said he will play Sunday. Yes. Okay.
I didn't know how it went. I think they have something with Jordan Love. I think it's just one of those things. It's kind of like with any rookie quarterback, because he's a rookie quarterback. Mm-hmm. You got to get reps. Right. I mean, you got to get live action. And Kansas City smoked them at the beginning. The first 3 drives was like, oh, because they was bringing it. But I think he's all right. But we comparing Aaron Rodgers. That's like comparing a Bentley to a Hoopty. I mean, everybody in here is gonna be like, hey, I want Bentley. That looks comfortable. You rode in it, and that's the thing. This ain't got no AC in it. So I think it's a process. He showed me like potential, but I think one, for not his lack of playing, two, one, he didn't get to throw with the receivers that much because they were out. The two starting receivers still, because they just cleared COVID like Thursday or Friday.
Yeah,
but it's like I said, it's all good. Chiefs, it is so funny. We talk about how the Chiefs struggle, but they still have a chance to win the division.
Exactly.
That's crazy. They still they're trying to figure it out. Defense looks better, but like I said, they got to be able to run the ball.
Yeah, and I mean, the Williams ran for 70 yards last night, but they're definitely missing that running attack, and that seems to be that other outlet. Plus, he's targeting. Kelsey had 8 targets last night. Hill had 11 targets. I think Hardeman had like 6, and then everyone else was like maybe 2 or 3. So he definitely needs to. He seems not to be able to. It seems like he's only looking for 1 or 2 guys. So the defenses are definitely picking up on that.
And it's crazy. Where's Josh Gordon?
Exactly.
That's why I thought about it. I'm like, where's Josh Gordon at on this?
Where is Josh Gordon? Exactly. Yeah. Who knows? That was crazy game. And I mean, 13-7 definitely wasn't fun to watch. Troy Aikman was even getting on Jordan Love yesterday on the air, so that was definitely interesting to watch. We'll see what happens. And if hopefully for Green Bay's sake, this game. This loss will. I mean, it seems like they're going to either be the 1 or the 2 seed because they have the tiebreaker against Arizona. But hopefully this won't cost them a better playoff spot than they were looking for, because they definitely are a team that could get on a run and win the whole thing for sure. So we will see what happens. And I like to keep it on the field. We're not going to talk about the off the field Aaron Rodgers stuff that's been talked through. Everybody knows the story, and that's that. So we'll move forward from that. I do want to talk about Tennessee and the LA Rams last night. A huge surprise to me, because I thought, without Derrick Henry not having that number 1 back, Tennessee's game plan is going to change. But they just went ahead, they played their game, and they just out-muscled the Rams. They out-hustled. McVay got out-coached, mad props to Tennessee and that team. They're the number 1 seed right now in the AFC. And, Chad, I'm sure you were surprised at the outcome last night and how dominant Tennessee really looked.
Man, I'll tell you right now, anyone who had a bad day gambling, that game, that's where you run to the sports book and put your life savings. I'm going to get my money back. The Rams are going to cover. And then you go broke, man, because, no Henry. The Titans, you got to credit the Titans. They're so well coached. I don't think that's talked about enough. I mean, yeah, on paper, like, they got AP, they got Julio, but, this ain't 2007, man. This ain't 2010. Like, those are older guys. They don't really contribute, but A.J. Brown is tough. I love the way he plays football. He's physical. He loves that physicality with the DBs. Ryan Tannehill, it had to have been Adam Gase, because ever since he left that man, I mean, he's done his thing. He's just above a game manager, because he'll run what you need to run, but he'll get people open. He can move with his feet. You got to love the athleticism, obviously a former receiver.
Right.
But the Rams, and it's funny because they're sitting there talking Stafford up. And until that point, Stafford wasn't doing bad. And then he throws the worst pick. I mean, sometimes you got to just take the safety. You can't throw the ball into the middle of the field where all those linebackers are sitting in that zone, and they're going to pick it off on their own 10-yard line. And from there, it was just an avalanche of things for the Rams. I kind of equate it to the Cowboys game. I mean, it's better to get that out of your system now. Get that out of your system now, clean that up, and don't let it happen again and go on that championship run. I think the Rams are the best team on paper and on the field. They impose their will. They have route runners that Kansas City lacks. I mean, Cooper Kupp is the best in the business. Robert Woods does his thing. They have big guys on the outside like Van Jefferson. They have a good tight end in Higbee. The running game, I mean, they make the holes. Darrell Henderson's not a Pro Bowl running back, but the holes are there, and he gets chunks at a time. And I love Matt Stafford. I think Matt Stafford has been one of the most underrated quarterbacks. He hasn't won much in Detroit. I think he can make every throw. I think he's a leader. They talked about how much he's teaching McVay and how he's kind of making McVay call different stuff. And then Tennessee comes out and says, we don't care about none of that. This is football. You got to win the game between these lines, and we put it on you, and it's our game. We're the best team in the AFC right now. Derrick Henry's gone, and we're going to keep doing our thing. We're going to keep running the same plays, the same offense. McNichols comes in and brings a little receiving threat, and they beat them down.
No, definitely. I was just so surprised. I mean, Coach, what was your reaction to the game last night? I mean, did you see something on the field? I always like to ask you coaching questions. Because you're our resident coach here on the show. Did you see something on the field that you saw Tennessee taking advantage of, or that the Rams weren't reacting to? I mean, what did you see from not a coaching point of view?
I just think one thing about Tennessee in games like this, Tennessee is a very momentum team. So it started with Matthew Stafford. Instead of taking the sack and get the safety, throw it out the end zone.
Right.
That's one touchdown. Then you come back the next drive and you throw a pick six because you didn't read the safety. I think Matthew Stafford put them in that hole, and then after that, they was in struggle. They were struggling because they was in chase mode. And when you're in chase mode, now you're trying to stop the run. Tennessee, they played a great offensive play, just play calling. They ran screens, they ran the ball, they play action. So it was very, very, very beautiful what they was running. And Matthew Stafford, one thing about Matthew Stafford, what he can't do, he can't read. I say he can't read that well, but he has times where he's a gunslinger. He'll try to fit that thing in there, and sometimes you can't do that. Because you see the second half, they went back to what the Rams do. They ran the tight end, they ran the play action, they ran the screen. Like they did a lot of motioning of what Sean McVay, that's what he likes. Again, I picked the Rams NFC Championship playing Tampa Bay, but I got Tampa Bay winning because Tampa Bay fits good with them, all depending on if Antonio Brown is healthy. If Antonio Brown's healthy, I have Tampa Bay beating them and Gronk.
Interesting, very, very interesting. Yeah, I think and it's funny, the Rams are one of those teams that, like, on paper, obviously they should be, so dominant. Now they picked up Von Miller. He's going to play next week. It'll be interesting to see, how he fits into the scheme, which he basically should. But it is good to, as you said, to get these hiccups out of the way before the playoffs, before the December run. Obviously if they end up playing Tampa, they have to go to Tampa. It's still, even though it's outside, it's still warm weather. So they might have to deal with the cold weather if they have to go to Arizona or Tampa, because usually they see teams from warm weather going to cold weather in the wintertime. Definitely can affect them. So it's going to be interesting what happens in the NFC for sure. Another crazy game I want to talk about, and I'm just waiting for Ray to come on to talk about his beloved Jaguars winning yesterday. I want to talk about Minnesota and Baltimore for a minute. Baltimore has squeaked out a lot of wins this year over teams that they should dominate. Minnesota, Detroit, the Indianapolis game, is this Baltimore team, Coach? I mean, are they a good team, or are they just kind of getting lucky here because they've got the best kicker in the business, it seems like?
Well, when you run first, run second, and run third team, like the scores are gonna be tight like that. I mean, that's just the reality of it. What type of team they have? Like they don't have. If Lamar doesn't break one for 40 or 50 yards, they really don't get it. So everything is 5 yards here, 4 yards here, 3 yards here, 2 yards here. So it's like, it's when they get, and it's funny, but when they're in this 2-minute offensive mode where they actually throw the football, they actually look better. I don't understand why sometimes just mix it up and throw it, but I know that's not what the OC likes to do. Right. And on top of that, man, it's matchups. That secondary is trash. Like it is trash. Because you seen it, you saw it even in the 60 game. What's name? 500 some yards, 200 some rushing. Catching. So it's their secondary, their defense is not as the Ravens of the old. Plus, with the style of offense that they run, all the games are gonna play. They're gonna be close games, and that's why I kind of hoping like, hey, let's get Odell. I really want to see if he can throw that ball around.
So you want to see Odell in Baltimore?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes. Yeah. Odell. If Odell's petty like his daddy, He'd go to Baltimore so he can play Cleveland twice.
That would be interesting. Hey, I want to welcome in my boy Sizzle. What's up, Sizz? How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. Welcome, Sizz. Sizz representing the ATL in the house. So, before we move on to another game, just give us a quick little talk about your Atlanta Falcons, kind of squeaking one out yesterday. It's always good to beat you're in division rival, the Carolina Panthers. So talk about the progression of the Atlanta Falcons. Right now, if the season ended, they'd be in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, if ended right now, it'd be the 7th seed. You know, I don't know why people are surprised. You know what I mean? We show signs every now and then. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
that we're capable. You know, that's a given.
Right.
But that defense need work. I like the way the offense is, but that defense need work. Need a lot of work.
That they do. But your kicker has saved you a couple of times. You beat the Giants on a field goal. You beat Carolina yesterday. Oh, now did you?
I'm sorry?
Say that again. You froze up. We're talking about your kicker, how he saved you guys a couple times.
Oh, cool. That's the man.
Yeah.
Aside from Justin Tucker, I want cool.
There you go. Very, very cool. I mean, do you think Atlanta can hold on and get that 6th or 7th seed? You know,
I do think that they can get the 6th or the 7th, and not just because of them per se, but just because the NFC is just the lower tiered NFC is just weak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just feel like, Minnesota, they're going to lose games. 49ers are going to lose games. The Saints are probably going to lose more games. So it's pretty much who's going to lose out to get the 6th and 7th seed.
No, definitely. Well, speaking of the NFC, the Eagles lost, and I want to go to chat on this. The Chargers, who are in your division, are now in first place in your division. I think you guys are only a game ahead of Denver. So I know the Chargers beat them, but I mean, do you think do you think Denver and not San Diego? I always call them San Diego. Darn it! Do you think Denver and the Chargers? I mean, how do you see that matchup? Because that matchup's going to happen as we move forward in the season. So what's going to happen with that?
I think the Chargers have the edge just because of the quarterback position. It's the most important position in football.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the defense, to be honest with you. I think that their talent, they have so much talent on defense. I don't understand why they keep getting gashed. I mean, they don't have a run defense at all. We can all run for 100 each in one game. I mean, they just get gashed open repeatedly by the run. I mean, Derwin James, hell of a player. Bosa, hell of a player. They got names and they just don't put it together. But you got Herbert. You nailed on the quarterback. That's all you have to do in this league. Once you do that, you got one of the best route runners in Keenan Allen. You got Mike Williams, who has long been a deep threat, but Phillip Rivers ain't been able to get it to him out there. Now Herbert's getting it to him. You got Eckler, who likes to catch the ball out of the backfield. So they actually surprised me. Yes, I'm thinking they're going to run away with that game against Philly, but they're another team who just they always have this thing to play to the level of their competition. When they play a good team, they get up. But when they play one of these teams they're supposed to roll, they don't know how to win yet. They haven't learned how to win yet. That's a lot of these young teams. They haven't learned how to win, and you can see it every other Sunday. Every Sunday when they play. So I think they're a better team than us. Do I want to beat them? Of course. I got tickets to the game, so I'm excited to go to that. But
cool.
I mean, they got a quarterback and we don't. That's the simple. That's what it comes down to.
All right, I'm going to ask you one more question about this upcoming Denver Chargers game, and then Ray's in the house. I want to welcome Ray in real quick, and then we're going to talk about his beloved Jacksonville Jaguars and what they did to Buffalo, because I know he was in the house yesterday. So when the Denver and the Chargers, and you're in LA, how transient that fan base is. You think there'll be a lot of Broncos fans in the house that day, or you think it'll be like a split crowd, more Denver? I mean, a lot of people are going to come down from Colorado to the game. What do you think?
Broncos fans travel, so that's a tough measuring stick. But just in general, it's different out here, man. Like, I lived in Tennessee, I lived down that way, and out there, it's like a religion, man. It's either you bleed orange or you bleed blue, or in Georgia, you either you got these teams, and in Bama, you either Bama or Auburn, but in Cali, man, I don't like a single team in this state, man. And a lot of it just has to do with growing up. It's not really a lot of the sports teams. They're not even really. I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of it's gang related. You see a lot of people with Dodgers hats on. They probably don't even know a player they couldn't pick Puig or Kershaw out of a lineup. But they're just banging it. Or, the Raiders, they got them Raider caps on, but they don't know, they know Tim Brown, but now, like, they don't really know Josh Jacobs. They're repping it, so it's different. So when you're growing up, it's like, all right, well, I'm trying to stay out of that team, so I'm going to go rock with this team or that team. So the Packers, the Steelers, you go to a bar out here, you see Packers, Steelers, Patriots ever since Brady, you see Broncos. It's a lot of fans out here, man, to be honest with you. So we're going to be in there. It's going to be deep. You might see more orange than you do powder blue and yellow, whatever colors they wearing that day. But today's a weird place. It's a Laker. It's a Kobe town. It's a Laker town. If it ain't the Lakers and Kobe,
right,
it's open season. Besides that, it's a Laker town, and that's it. No rain.
Right, cool. We'll get to the Lakers in a little bit. Welcome in, Ray. Now, Ray, right before we talk about the Jaguars, as Coach has paid off at his bet from last week, Ray's a Braves fan. So I know Sis Atlanta Braves fan. We had a bet, and Coach is from Houston, so we had to put up "All Hail Atlanta Braves" on his screen.
Oh,
so
man.
He's paying off his bet from the
Hey, I
World
got
Series.
red, I got the white, I got the blue, and I got the
man.
There you go. You can't listen. There's nowhere in Houston or Texas I can find an ATL nothing. So this is best I can get you, Ray.
He paid off his bet, that type of thing. So, that's a good thing. But Ray, talk about the Jaguar game yesterday. I know you were there. You sit on the visitors' side of the field. So just tell us, man. I'm sure you were giving it to Buffalo yesterday, and the crowd was giving it to them. And just talk about the game yesterday and the whole and this, what they did to them, both from the fans' point of view and on the field.
Yeah, and it's funny because Buffalo Bills Mafia came down to Jacksonville, and they were raising Cain before the game. They were talking all that junk. They had that number 17 jersey on, says Josh Allen in the back. So me and my buddy, we came up with an idea to bring some tape to the game, and we put 41 over there. Crossed out the 17, put 41 on it. Josh Allen for the Jaguars, and people were like, "What are y'all doing?" I said, "Well, your Josh Allen's not getting it done. My Josh Allen was getting it done. He forced a fumble. He intercepted the ball. He sacked the quarterback 4 times. He had like a triple trifecta on him. And everybody's like, who's this Josh Allen guy is?" And one of my friends was listening to it on the radio. He said, yeah, they were talking about Josh Allen, but they're always mixing it up. Talking about Josh Allen on the Buffalo Bills. I said, no, they're talking about Josh Allen for the Jaguars, who was doing it. And the thing is, the first time that a guy with the same name intercepted a person with the same name.
Yeah.
And it was good. I mean, the game was fantastic. We had Buffalo Bills fans looking at us saying, y'all cheating. We go back at them and say, y'all cheating with all the flags. When I was walking down, they were trying to pick the Mafia was trying to gain around me and try to pick me up, try to throw me through a table. They couldn't get me up. So, I was just laughing at them. And it's like, it was fun though. I mean, the atmosphere was great. The, the fans for both teams. And then we getting up to the tie, we go ahead 3-0. And then they come back and kick 3. And then we had that one sequence where our kicker missed 4 field goals on that one try because every time they had to call a timeout, we had a penalty, and he missed it all 4 times. We could have had a little bit more lead, but then, Trevor Lawrence missed like 3 or 4 different passes that was key. Agnew should have caught that one pass for the touchdown. Went right through his arms. Again, give it out to our defense. Our defense played tremendous, and there was a big hold of breath when Lawrence got hurt. Right. And it was the guy from Wisconsin who hadn't played in 2 years. We picked him up in the 3rd or 4th round of the draft, and he was starting for Cam Robinson because Cam Robinson he got scratched at the beginning of the game with a back injury and stuff. So this guy's his first time playing, and he's playing against one of the best defense in Buffalo Bills, and we played him going the highest scoring offense in the NFL, and we held him to 6 points. And I mean, that play was just going crazy.
Oh, wow. It definitely sounds like it was incredible. So I just want to kind of go around the room here. So did and I know what Ray's answer is. I want to hear from Sis and Coach and Chad. Did Jacksonville expose Buffalo yesterday, or was it just a complete oversight? We'll go to Sis first. Do you think they were exposed yesterday all of a sudden?
I don't necessarily think they're exposed. I just don't think Buffalo's as good as we all thought in the beginning of the season. They're blowing everybody out, to be honest. I mean, they played the Jets, right?
Yes.
Wasn't that like a closer game than it should have been?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. I just think they're just not as good as we thought in the beginning. And I think everyone just was scared of them really for no reason. And I think they're good, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're above like average. I think they're just cool.
All right, Coach, what do you think?
Man, I said this Sunday because it was a huge argument, and everybody think I'm crazy. I think Josh Allen is a above average quarterback. If you go and you look at the stats, even in the AFC Championship, if he has to throw the ball 40 plus times and they don't rush for 100 yards, they don't win. If you look at the games that they lost this year or they struggled in, Josh Allen has to throw the ball 40 sometimes. He doesn't win. My biggest thing, he doesn't have that signature win where I said he drove the field and he made the plays, he made the throws to win the game. Even when he played Tennessee, he tried to run the ball in, didn't get it in. Like that's just my thing about Josh Allen. He's a good quarterback overall, but throwing and all that other stuff, I think he's very, very average.
All right, what about you, Chad?
I think any game of Sunday is just not a movie, man. I think it was just one of them weeks. I mean, Coach said it earlier. Mahomes ain't got a running game. I mean, Singletary and Moss not exactly, Pro Bowl running backs. I think the Bills struggle with that as well as far as the running game. I think Josh Allen, and I did not want him coming out of college as a Broncos fan. I regret that day to this point right now, being what we did after that. But I think the Bills are good. I think they're one of the best teams in the AFC still. They got good corners. I just think it's one of those Sundays, man. It happened. They went down to Duval. I don't know how the weather was. I don't know if it was hot. I know they're probably waiting for it to get cold by now, but I just know they can't run the ball. And when he has to air it out, they got Emmanuel Sanders and Diggs out there. His tight end is gone. He loved Knox. That's a security blanket. He's out. Right. And they just it was one of those games. It just wasn't going for him, but I think Josh Allen will be just fine. I think he's one of the good quarterbacks we got in this league right now. Obviously, they can help at running back. They should have drafted ETN or somebody. Obviously, he got hurt now, but I think they needed help and they need to address that. But you got teams like the Chiefs and the Bills who got these quarterbacks and they think they're going to just lead them to the promised land and they don't want to help them out. And then you go play the Jaguars and lose and you say, damn, maybe we should have got them some extra pieces.
No, and this is definitely a good win for Jacksonville to build on. I mean, the whole talk is like, oh, Meyer's going to be one and done. He's not used to losing. But I think this is a big win for this organization, beating a team like Buffalo. Building on this win, building character as a ball club. So it'll definitely be interesting to fight. All right, before we move on, I just want to get Ray and the Sis's quick take on the Monday night game. Even though the game has started, I think Pittsburgh is up 7-0. But, just Ray, give me your quick thoughts on tonight's Monday night game before we move on to NBA.
I mean, Pittsburgh, they still got to get that running game going. And Big Ben is just not Big Ben of all. I mean, he's getting old up in the age. I think it's time for him to hang it up, man, because, he's not mobile. He's not getting the things what he needs to be done. I think they're still lacking a little bit in the tight end thing because, Big Ben liked them tight ends what they had and stuff like that. So, that's just like a security blanket. But then, he's not getting what he needs to be. And the running game is not really, they picked up Harris, but, he's still a rookie. And they let Connors go. And you see what Connors did the other day for Arizona. So, I mean, he's still got to have that running game. But, Tomlin is going to figure it out. And I think if Pittsburgh can win tonight, I think it could give them a little bit of momentum boost.
No, definitely. All right, Swiss, quick take on the game tonight. Then we're going to move to the NBA.
Man, on the game, I need Justin Fields to come through. I honestly think he just needs like a few more games this season to get loose, man. I know I just got faith in the kid. Part of me wishes we would have drafted him. Now after seeing Kyle Pitts, I'm glad we didn't. Yeah, man, I just need him to get into his bag and start making some plays.
Yeah, well, he just threw an interception, so he definitely needs to make some plays tonight.
You know what I'm saying? You got to step it up. You know what I mean?
No, he just did. And Najee Harris has the first touchdown for Pittsburgh, so obviously they're getting their running game a little going. So it's going to be a good game once we get off the air. Definitely something fun to watch tonight. All right, let's move on to the NBA. So the NBA has been in about a month already. Some interesting first takes on the league. And I love saying this just to piss Freddie off. The AARP Lakers. Let's talk about them just a little bit. 5-5 so far. A couple of bad losses where they had more than a 15-point lead against Oklahoma City, and they lost both those games. Definitely having a little on the court issues, off the court issues. Chad, you're in LA. What's the chatter in LA right now about the Lakers? What are they talking about out there?
As I said earlier, man, it's a Kobe town and a Laker town. Half the fans didn't even want LeBron. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And now they letting him have it. I'm telling you, it's tough because I'm a Nuggets fan. I'm like, shit, I'll take LeBron. That's the piece we need. But when you had Kobe, that it's so hard, especially when they was going at it. So let's be honest. So this is
God.
really on. So
I know when you brought the Lakers in
right now. It's wait till the playoffs come around. We shouldn't be talking about the NBA till Christmas. That's when it ramps up.
Right.
And when the playoffs come around, like I said, no matter what these struggles, the OKC game, if you got the Lakers in a 7-game series, are you going to feel comfortable going against LeBron, AD, Russ, Melo, all those guys in a series? That's what it comes down to in basketball. These 82 games don't mean nothing to LeBron. These are for teams like Memphis to go out there and prove themselves. LeBron just got to be in that top 8. Once he's in that top 8, he's chilling.
Exactly. Well, the OG in the house, Freddie. I talk about it's like you talk about the Lakers, his ears ring, and he's got to jump in. So welcome, Freddie. We're just talking about this the first month of the NBA. Lakers are 5-5. Had a couple of bad losses coming in. Obviously we know when LeBron gets his super teams together, it takes them a while to gel. So Chad said the chatter in LA is some people don't even want him anymore. They're still remembering the days of Kobe and all that. So just give us a quick little take before I want to hear from everybody else too.
What's going on, gentlemen? It's funny. I was on another set with Tony, and he had this show playing. I heard the Lakers, and I said, "Oh hell no!" I switched off and came on here. But check this out. You're right. It normally takes a long time for them to gel, and quite honest, this team might take even longer to gel because LeBron's I think this is gonna bite LeBron in the foot, man. I really do, because Rob Pelinka had Buddy Hield ready for you, a proven shooter that we all know LeBron like to play with. Instead, you bring in Russ, who it seems like he turns the ball over more than anything. He just turns the ball over like crazy. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not panicking yet. I still take time, but hey. I'm on notice. I'm keeping my eye out there. Hey, hopefully they play in Charlotte tonight. Hopefully we can beat Ray's team so I can come in the group chat and talk a little crap, but I don't know.
That'll be interesting. Sizzle down in Atlanta. Atlanta made a great playoff run last year. Obviously, injuries hurt them in the end in the finals. But what's the buzz in Atlanta about the Hawks right now? I know they're 4-6, starting off a little slow. But is the city's confidence up? Are they ready for another playoff run down there? Or where are they at right now?
For sure. Atlanta's a bandwagon city. They're not really going to support their team until they're there in the playoffs. So, once we get in the playoffs and they start winning, then, they'll ride for them. Me personally, I'm not a Hawks fan. I'm here and I see it, but right. It's Warriors for me. But they're excited. Everyone's talking. Everyone loves Trey. Mm-hmm. Loves Trey. Trey can do no wrong here in the city whatsoever.
Oh, understandable. Now, speaking of Golden State's off to a hot start, 8-1. Balling like crazy, and they don't even have the Klay Thompson's not even back yet. So
listen, they look good. They thought it was a game. Okay, they thought it was a game. We're really I feel like, and I don't know who gets the nod for this. I don't know if it's like Kerr. I don't know if it's the other coaching staff, but I just feel like we draft well, and I feel like we train well, because all the players that we have, it's like we groom them and they just become good.
Right.
Like Jordan Poole, I'm looking at him like, what? It was like this the whole time? Because it sure as hell wasn't like this last year, and it wasn't like this the year before that, but now he's just balling.
Oh yeah, and even with having Wiggins back on the roster, having him in there, it's definitely working out. Coach, I forgot to ask you, who do you root for? I don't remember when it comes to basketball.
I'm a LeBron James fan. A lot of it is just, I guess, from all the haters. Like I really, it's really like I just started liking him. But Miami Heat is my pick in the NFC. I'm still in football. See, I'm still in football, man. We don't start talking about this until February.
I know. We got to tag a little basketball, you know.
No, in the Eastern Conference, man, I got Miami, man. And again, I'm like what Chad said. I got to see it 2 years in a row. LeBron goes down. Then I'll be like, okay, he's on the down slope. So I respect LeBron. Don't get me wrong. I love Golden State. I like what they do. The atmosphere, man. Like when you come in there, that's one thing about Golden State. When you come in there, it's fun. You could be yourself. You got leaders. Like Kerr don't have to really do too much. You don't have to say too much because you got a Steph. When you got the best shooter in the game, you got him. Draymond is a dog. Everybody know he's gonna get on to you, but they teach you. You know what I'm saying? They don't just talk bad to you. They say, hey, this is how it's supposed to be. And within doubt, give it to Steph. I mean, so like I said, I like what Golden State does. I like watching them. It's very, very exciting. But I think LeBron, man, I can't go against LeBron yet.
It's all good. It's all good. Ray, Charlotte is at 5-6. You know, kind of in the middle of the pack right now. Definitely a young team with a lot of potential. You know, what have you seen out of them the first month?
Yeah, the same old thing. LaMelo Ball is doing his thing. He's averaging, 20 points a game. Miles Bridges is doing his thing. He's averaging 22.5, but he's still getting up a little bit on the defensive side. They got to figure out how to play a little bit more defense and basketball-wise. But I've seen a couple of games for him. I'm still in football mode myself. Like, what Coach said, we don't get really into NBA until after Christmas and, beginning of the New Year's. And,
it's February.
Yeah.
After the Super Bowl, it's a process. After the Super Bowl, now you get into you start watching NBA in college. Then March Madness hits. And so I'm in my March Madness mode. And then guess what? When April hit, I'm all NBA all the way up in June to the championship.
That's the same schedule. Yeah. LeBron too. LeBron got that same schedule. LeBron watching football right now too. He's not worried.
But and getting to the Golden State thing in the city of Oakland, pretty soon they ain't gonna have no sports team because Golden State plays in San Francisco. You got the Raiders are going down to Las Vegas, and you might have the A's joining them in Las Vegas. Yeah, so
right, exactly. No, yeah, Oakland's gonna have no sports teams. All right, before we finish up, I just want to first thank everybody for coming out tonight. I know we had some latecomers, but I really appreciate everybody's input. It's all very good. Chad, just so you know, Ray is also a Tar Heels fan, so we got a couple Tar Heels fans in the house. So there you go, like that. Oh, Vernon's too. Okay, cool. I didn't know that.
No,
he gonna be in there.
Winner, baby.
Basketball. He gonna kill me if I tell him my football team.
Who's your football team?
Florida State.
Hey, my wife's a Florida State fan.
So yeah, it's like I'm in the ACC. I get looks sometimes like what, but I'm 33, man. I grew up on Peter Warwick, and Warwick Dunn, and I grew up on Antoine and Vince Carter, man. I was in my driveway, so I picked up.
I grew up on Lawrence Taylor for Carolina, and I grew up with Michael Jordan, James Worthy, Sam Perkins, Phil Ford, Walter Davis.
Yeah.
Those were the guys for sure. All right, so as we all finish out, we always have our last chance to bring it of the night. So Chad, since you're our guest tonight, why don't you go first? Give me your last final take. Could be sports, could be anything, but give me your last final hot take of the night.
Man, I think I'm agree with Coach, man. And we were talking NBA. I think the Heat are a team to look out for this year. I think they really gonna make a run. I know Sizzle, the Warriors, man, they cold and Poole. The thing about basketball, Poole been like this. He been like that in Michigan. But the thing about basketball is there's walking buckets on the bench. In the NFL, talent finds the field. Ain't no talent on the bench. All the talent's on the field. In basketball, Curry got the rock. There's a lot of talent waiting to be unleashed. And Poole finally got his chance, and he's capitalizing. So I like seeing teams like that. But I think Miami, they got Bam down low. He can move the rock a little bit. He got the athleticism, the defense. When you're a defense-oriented team, and they got that Pat Riley vibe to him, Spoelstra, Jimmy Butler is like a less famous Kawhi. I mean, people just don't talk about him as much. Tyler Hero, he got game. He over here comparing himself to Luka and Trey. He's not, but the swag is there. And once again, in basketball, if you got the swag, that's 25% of it right there. I think the Heat are a team to watch out for.
All right, cool, Miami Heat. All right, Sissel, go ahead.
Man, I'm in agreement with the Heat thing too. Just by the way, I mess with Hero real hard. I think he did have to put on a little bit more weight, and now he's going to start giving it to people. I don't think he liked the fact that everyone called him a bubble player in the playoffs. They're like, he's a bubble player. I don't think he liked that too much. So, cool on that. My take, man, I'm going back on the Falcons, man. You know, we're coming strong. You know what I mean? No Ridley, no problem. You know what I mean? I know I didn't get to touch on that at all. I mean, Ridley, I'm on the trade Ridley, man. I'm saying trade Ridley. I'm saying get rid of him. Either get a pick or get another receiver, man. I would have liked to see what Odell looked like in Atlanta, but I know he didn't want to come here because we're not winning. But yeah, man, I see it. We're getting into a playoff 6-7 seed.
All right, cool. All right, Coach, how about you? Last take of the night.
Man, shout out to all these quarterbacks that are straight out of Texas. It's a long list. I ain't gonna call them all out, but they was all playing Sunday except one, and that's Kyler Murray. So shout out to these Texas boys standing up at this QB spot.
All right, cool. All right, Ray, what you got for us? Last take.
Well, I'm proud, Papa, of my son. My son had a baseball game tonight this season. He's done hit his 6th home run. He had a single, and we beat a team 10-2 tonight. So,
all right, gotta like that. Gotta love the Little League. Yeah, I remember those Little League days. You know, my last take of the night is just, I wish I bet all the underdogs yesterday, and I didn't because I was like, I should have, and I didn't. And so my last take is I need to play a little more on the sports, we'll bet on the underdogs a little bit more because I think the game's going to be a lot closer than they seem. So thank you everybody for coming out tonight. Chad, thanks for hanging out. You are welcome anytime here on Bring. Anytime you want to come back, just hit me up. We'll get you back on the show. Sis, you always welcome. Coach and Ray, always good to have you guys in the house as always. And we will be back next week. Got a good slate of games this week. Should be another interesting Sunday. Any given Sunday, as we've seen, you never know. You never know what's going to happen in sports. Stay tuned for Real Talk coming up next. Don't forget to check us out on all the places you can watch us. We got merchandise. Go to our website. You can check out our merch store. Great merchandise up there. Thanks for our producer, Tony, hanging out with his little cowboy take and wearing his Bears jersey tonight. And we will see everybody next week. Peace out.
Peace.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces.